broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to AfterBuzz TV's Grimm After Show! I'm your host, Zach Wilson. Tonight, we only talk about Grimm, Silence of the Slams.
That's great. That was really good.
It's a luchador-filled episode here at Grimm. In this corner, Miss Yael Tygiel.
Hi, everybody. You can tweet at me live during the show. I can't do wrestling-y things. Woo. At Yael Tygiel. That's YAELTYGIEL. And I'm live in the chat with you guys, so I'm following along as you bang on keyboards.
And her tag team partner on that side of the table, Tauri Miller.
I'm Tauri J. Miller. You can find me at Tauri J. TAURI-JAY.
And I'll be your host for this evening, brother. It's like the only wrestling reference I know. I'm Zach Wilson, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. We're very excited to talk about this week's episode of Grimm.
I'm extra excited
Silence
because
of the Slams.
this is my tag team partner. I got this.
Yeah, 2016 tag team champs, bro.
Yeah.
It's a 2-on-1. No, we were all on the same team here.
We'll see.
You guys can tweet at me throughout the week, throughout the show. That's Zach Wilson. Zach spelled with a CH. Start with a quote, and then we'll get into this episode.
Read it the wrestling voice, though.
Give a man a mask, and he will show you his true face. It's Oscar Wilde.
Oh,
I
nice.
love Oscar Wilde.
It's like the most intense way that an Oscar Wilde quote has ever been said. All right. With that out of the way, with that bit of ridiculousness out of the way. All right. What you get? Well, what first thoughts? What do you guys think of tonight's episode? Remember, this is picking up like where we left off after we just got the reveal of the stick. It's almost like I almost forgot, like after a week of absorbing that like that was the 100th episode a week ago. This is 101.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like we still have to figure out what's going on with this thing.
I'm really sad that we've reverted back to procedural status. That's where I stand on it. Ivan in the chat says, I hated this episode.
Whoa!
With like 5 exclamation points. Yeah, everyone else disagrees, though. They said it was pretty good. My biggest complaint, though, is that it reverted back to, ironically, not the complaint everyone thinks is my biggest complaint, but my biggest complaint is that we reverted back to procedural status and did not make progress on the stick.
Yeah, I would have to agree that like it kind of bums me out that we had these big epic episodes, and it makes sense because we had the 100th, and they had to do something really large and extravagant.
They had to change the game a little bit,
right?
Yeah.
But like then we go back to things like status quo essentially. But like I mean, I feel like we had some pretty sweet action, and I really liked the old man.
Yeah.
He was a good character.
Yeah, no, he was cool. There was a lot that I liked about this episode. I agree. I am like I think we've all been clear on our feelings. Like the episodic stuff, like the more procedural episodes, feel unnecessary. Because you're just like you're watching it like. Okay, and the big important thing that you're dealing with too. Remember, like that whole thing. Like, why don't we do that?
Well, the first half of the season, even the episodes that were very best of the week, were tied into the overarching story, and we didn't get anything about Black Claw.
No, it didn't.
It had nothing to do with it.
The Luchador plot line in this episode didn't seem to tie in at all to the overarching. And that's what you're right. The first half of the season did so well was it kept the procedural nature that the show has had for a long time, but it never felt procedural because it was all important. It was like, yeah, he's a cop. He has to solve cases. These things come up, especially if there's a new criminal element in town. He has to deal with that. And then, oh wait, it's building towards something.
Right.
And this one just didn't. It was a cool story. I love the idea of the luchador mask and like the transference of Vesson powers. I thought it was a very fascinating thing, and we're gonna get into that a little bit more towards the second half of the after show. I want to start talking about the wand of power, the stick of healing,
the splinter,
the rod of Asclepius. Because I still don't know how to properly pronounce his name.
Oh,
and I kind of like saying Asclepius.
Yggdrasil. Could be.
Yeah. If you want more about those theories on the stick,
Dumbledore's wand.
you can check out last week's episode.
Yeah, where we wouldn't shut up.
No, it did not have little balls of wood on it. It is not the Elder Wand. Tauri.
Do not have balls of wood.
That's what the Elder Wand looks like, guys. God, come on.
I mean...
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So, but...
Yes?
So, they're talking about this and trying to figure it out. And again, we get a little bit of that, like, fan, like, feeling from them, like... So it does this. Like, what do we do with that information? It could be the cloth doing it. Could be the box doing it. Do you guys still think it's the stick?
I think the stick is... Yes, I think it's the stick because we know of so many things, like so many magical things about pieces of wood, right? Like your schlepping and my Yggdrasil and the wands and like Prospero's staff, right? Like there are all these magical sticks, and so I feel like it has to be the stick. But I think that the cloth does have something. Maybe it's the spell that gave the magic to the stick, or the spell that said not to be all predicting-y. But like the cloth says, who is pure of heart, blah blah blah.
Right.
The stick is magic, blah blah blah.
So it's like the contract of the stick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, like that could be interesting if it's like a warning. Like if you use this to heal, it will also like. It could be sort of a monkey's paw type situation where
we're now getting super predictive.
It's healing. Whatever. We're
speculating, not predicting.
All right.
Exactly. Thank you, Tauri.
You're welcome.
It could be something where, like, if you're healing, it could be hurting somebody else in the world equally, or it's going to come back and hurt you in a different way. So there could be just any kind of. There's always a consequence for good, especially in the Grimm world.
There's always a consequence for magic.
Yeah.
Anyone who's ever grown up on the craft knows. Nikki S. in the chat says they should definitely tell Adeline about the stick because she has magical knowledge. And that's a really good point.
Yeah, it seemed odd. It seemed odd at first, just that Adeline was not there. And last week I thought, oh, okay, well, she's got to watch the baby.
Right.
She's like that, and that's fine. Like, I can accept that she wasn't there because she has she has
responsibilities.
A baby, not just a child, but a baby, that can't be left alone, and there's no one they're going to trust that baby with.
I mean, it can be left alone, but whatever.
No, don't trust Yael with your baby. Apparently,
James Foran in the chat says Adeline has as much magical knowledge as Zach has pronunciation powers.
Hey, I am getting a lot better.
Ivan says magic always has a price. Nice, good reference. Once upon a time.
Yeah, but
so good.
I was confused why they wouldn't then tell her later.
I mean,
when they decide not to tell anyone.
They decide not to tell anyone, but the only reason I could think not to tell her would be worry about the Hexenbeast thing.
Right.
But that doesn't seem to be, until she mentioned it, I don't even think Nick thought about it.
Right. Well, I mean, I hate to say this, but she's still not technically one of the Scooby Gang.
Yeah.
Like, she's the girl that Nick is involved with, but she's not necessarily part of the group. You know, she's been an enemy for so long that, like, it would be hard to just kind of trust her with all the knowledge that you have, especially with, like, Rosalie knows that her Hex and Beast is back.
Right.
So she's definitely not going to encourage.
That's fair. That's fair. Because, yeah, you're right. Rosalie does know, and so, yeah.
Well, so
Right.
I thought the same
point.
thing. I thought if Rosalie had said something like, we should just make sure it's just us in this room. You know, like some way that Rosalie was
Like hinting.
hinting, but without hinting, so like the fans understood it better.
Right.
I would have liked that. But I think the way that it went down, and you're right though, because if you think about when Juliet was part of the group, she wasn't part of the Scooby Gang for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so even though Adeline is fully aware of Vessid and everything, you know.
But she's not as trusted.
Right.
And this is like the big thing that you need to be worried about.
Yeah.
Trusting people with.
Kendall in the chat says she's still an outsider. That's true.
Yeah.
And if she's keeping secrets, Nick should be keeping secrets too.
Yeah.
Which I'm sorry to say, that Natalie
two wrongs.
definitely make right. The Natalie fans are going to kill me, but guys, relationships based on secrets don't usually end well.
Yeah.
Right.
Secrets don't make friends.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah, so I'm sorry to the Natalie fans, but like something to think about. This is going to be drama.
Yeah, it regardless of whether they are going to stay together, this is clearly going to be a rocky patch for them.
Yeah.
And like I've always said, like weirdness aside, I like Natalie.
Yeah.
I'm a Natalie shipper.
I've joined that. I've gotten on that ship.
Yeah.
I've come aboard.
Tari's like, no.
I'm not generally known as a shipper.
Do you think they work well together?
I think they're fine. I mean, I was always on the train of Nick and Juliet, and that died, so Nick should die alone.
Oh, interesting.
Nick should die alone.
Yeah.
Quote that. Tari.
Guys, send him the hate.
It's OTP, man.
James says
One true
3
person.
rights make
Yes.
a left. Yes.
What was that?
3 rights make a left, and Mr. Goku says 2 rights make you go backwards. Guys, I'm not good at math. You're confusing me here.
That's not math. It's just directions.
Yeah, Ivan's not getting a shout out for what he said. You don't deserve another one.
All right. Anyway, while Yael's shaming the chat for some reason.
He said kill Yael. LOL JK.
No. But I mean, it is clearly going to drive a wedge between the two of them because you can only keep a secret like that for so long before it comes out. Adeline's going to react to something. Nick's going to come home late and she's going to wake up like, who's that? Like freaking out, like who's there, and throw something across the room by accident.
Right.
Or she's just going to like be like, I need the milk. Whoop, Jedi. And then
She's a Hexen Beast, not a Jedi.
yeah, but she could still say, you know,
She could say Jedi.
it's still a Jedi move.
Right. I mean,
Telekinesis?
though she's really good.
Okay.
She's really good at like acting. So like if she were to accidentally reveal her powers, she could be like, "Oh my gosh, Nick, I guess my powers are back." So she could play
Yeah.
the fact that she's lying, whereas like Nick is part of a group that all knows this thing is happening, and they may have assumed that he was going to tell her. So it's gonna slip at some point. She'll be like, "Yeah, Nick told you about the super magic stick," but Nick just made that decision not to tell.
Yeah, all it'll take is one slip from somebody on the team. But also, like, it could be as simple as Adeline gets mad. Like, because like that's the thing is if the Hexen Beast side is back, it's not just that she has her powers. It's that the evil side of her is starting to come back around.
Yeah.
And starting to show itself again. Like she's in a sense like almost off her meds.
Right.
And not that she did it intentionally, and like,
Right.
but she just can't do anything about it, and she's gonna become unbalanced soon. So it could be that Nick says something that like pisses her off. Like maybe it would be a little thing, but but like the Hexen Beast is going to blow it out of proportion.
Sarah Caitlin Walker says, "Stop blowing holes in my ship." Sorry, guys. Mr. Goku says, "What if she votes during sex?"
Yeah.
It wasn't my suggestion, it was his, and I like it.
Look, we're like, sometimes you might have to worry about Adeline. But occasionally it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Stop blowing holes in my ship!
Thanks.
You gotta watch
for
out.
that.
You gotta watch out.
Yeah.
Nice.
Uh,
That was
Great.
teamwork.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jonathan, our engineer in the booth.
Yay.
You
You can't give yourself a round of applause.
all right. So, but the bigger thing going on with Adeline is a little bit thanks to Renard in this episode because,
Well, Rachel.
yes, well, Rachel brings it up and starts to unfold these pieces. We got those hints of a couple weeks ago that Renard is going to have some big choices ahead of him, and we were when he was presented with the Obama poster with his face on it.
How did you feel about that poster?
It's so come on.
Okay, all right, so we're all the same
Come on,
page.
campaign. The campaign. I totally buy. These are not the most original people in the world. The campaign managers.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're just that campaign worked.
Let's use an old campaign, one that's real outdated. That's what we should do.
Though distinct. I mean, I feel like if you... this is my defense. In that, if you go back to previous, campaigns, there's none that stand out more than that one. If I were to hold up any of the previous ones, you'd be like, I don't know who those are for, unless it had a name. But that specific one is very distinctive to be you're running for office. This is a style. So, I get that choice. I just think it's
You
funny.
and your defenses that make sense.
But so now he's trying to decide if he should do it, and he's got his low-end temptress.
Oh my God, that
Rachel.
dress she was wearing, guys! I was also tempted. Whew. I wanted to run for office at that point.
Yeah, I mean, it's fair. She's looking great,
She looks so good.
and she looks great as a low-end too.
Are you switching teams from Fuchs Battle Lowen?
No,
Okay.
Rosalie all the way. But
Oh, Sarah Caitlin Walker in the chat says redheaded campaign manager. Her name is Rachel Wood. Is basic as hell.
she would.
Oh, nice. Sarah Caitlin Walker, no, she ain't basic.
I mean, just because she loves her pumpkin spice lattes and is really into yoga does not make her basic, right, guys? Right, guys?
We're going down.
I'm still very unclear as to what that means, and we're not going to get into it.
James
'cause
says
we need
Zach
to
likes the kitty now.
We're not going to get into this stuff because
Yeah.
because the big thing that comes out of all of this
Yes.
is that Diana is back on the table.
Yeah.
So Rachel knows where Diana is.
It seems like she knows.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah.
I mean, it could just be a carrot that she's using.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't know I don't know if we can trust her, but she knows enough to know the name.
Right.
So they have enough connections to just even to know that Diana exists and
Right.
is the child of Renard and Adeline. That means that Black Claw has deep knowledge. We know they're an international organization,
Right.
so it stands to reason.
I think the fact that
yeah.
they could infiltrate the council and murder everyone there, right? Because that
Yeah.
guy was at the council meeting like a council member.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was a council
He
member.
was a council member. So I think the fact that they're at that level tells us that they definitely should know about the royals and all of that, and they should be fully aware of Renard and Diana.
Yeah. It makes sense. I mean, she's little Diana, however old she is, because we still don't.
We know she's still a child, though.
Yes.
That was confirmed to us.
Okay, so she has aged up,
But she's still a
but
kid.
she's still a kid.
Chaos says, what if Diana works for Black Claw just out of spite? I don't see that happening, especially because she's a child. I don't see her being Black Claw. Although that would be fascinating.
Well, but
if she's
again-
a Black Claw tool.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
but the thing is, like, we don't know. Well, the last place we saw her was with.
Meisner.
Yeah, hold on. Let's hold on a second.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just now realizing this. The last place we saw Diana was with Meisner.
On the helicopter.
So Meisner, in theory, took her into the protective care of HW.
According to him, she was returned to the Royals.
Right. Are you also thinking that he could be a double agent?
I wasn't.
Oh. That's what I was like. As we got down this train, I was thinking that he could be part of Black Claw, and that might explain why HW hasn't been fully successful in taking them down, and that like he's part of that whole thing and feeding them information. So that's how they know that Diana exists. That's how they know that Adeline is the mother, and like that they might be able to use him.
Chaos says Diana is the Black Claw version of Eve. And I think that when we thought that Diana was an adult, I think that was totally a fair thought.
Yeah.
But I think now that we know she's a child, I don't think that she's going to be a Black Claw agent or a tool. And
But there's got to be
doubt
there's got to be something. There's like we know that. So what we know about Diana is as a royal Hexen beast, she is incredibly powerful. She was also conceived under special circumstances
Right.
because of all the things that Adeline did.
she wasn't conceived under special circumstances.
She was birthed under like
Yeah.
Right.
Her 9 months,
Grown.
6-ish
Yeah.
months. Her months.
Gestated, if you will.
Yes.
However,
gestation period.
whatever the right phrase is, there was a lot of stuff, a lot of spells and things that Adeline did
Yeah.
while she was pregnant with Diana. So Diana is incredibly powerful.
Right.
We don't know the limits. We don't know if she is at Eve's power, if she's above Eve's power.
We also don't know if she was trained at all.
Yeah, and like even like if she's anywhere above like 2 or 3, we know there's something big going on because like that means she's aging faster than normal.
Right.
Which is great because like speed along. We already got another baby.
I feel like she's going to be like 10-ish.
That stands to reason for me.
Everyone in the chat is saying late teens.
I would love. I think 13, 14 would be a great place to land her age-wise because, like, 13-year-old girls are volatile.
I was like, where are you going with this, boy?
No, like
Tell me about 13-year-old girls. Tell me about your childhood as a 13-year-old girl.
early teens, be they men or be they boys or girls, are unpredictable because they are just boiling pots of hormones.
Right.
Both genders. So I think that is where it could get really interesting because imagine someone with Eve's power level who is unpredictable and could do tons of damage if she gets upset about something unreasonable.
Interesting.
As like teenagers and preteens do.
Right. Though I imagine
No offense.
if she were younger than, because for me the ideal age would be like 8 or 9 because she's still relatively impressionable. Like you could convince an 8 or 9-year-old to do something wrong and make them believe that it's right or a game or something like that. Whereas like a teenager is more apt to rebel and may end up killing you if they have superpowers.
All right.
Yeah, I'm with Tauri.
I think both have different interesting stories, and then like I
Right.
think I trust the writers to know. Well, it's where they want to take it. Really, is where they want her age at.
Yeah.
Like,
I also think
yeah.
they told us that she was younger than we had thought, like a lot
well,
younger.
we thought she was 21.
Right, but I think we were led to believe after that she has aged up a bit, not a lot. The chat is guessing all sorts of things and telling you it's a trap. Zach, so stay out of it.
What's a trap?
Me.
You
asking
grilling me about that?
about being a teenage girl. Tell me about it, Zach.
I've already
Wait, sorry, the
explained my comments.
redhead. So everyone's aware. Her name is Rachel. She has a name.
Yeah, she's
Rachel
had a name
Wood.
for a while.
Yeah, we learned it.
Yeah.
Played by Anne Layton.
Yeah.
Rachel Wood. Because Rachel Wood.
All right. But yeah, so I'm intrigued to see what they do to get, because I think what it seems like they are leaning towards at this point is that Renard is going to agree to run for mayor with Black Claw as a double agent, or maybe not as a double agent, but basically trying to play them in order to get Diana back. That's how, because especially after his conversation towards the end of the episode, that's just that's what made sense to me, is that he wants Diana back, otherwise he wouldn't do it, because he doesn't want to work with Black Claw, because I don't think he buys into their theology. Goal, theology. Thank you. But he will do it to get Diana back, especially with the royals out of the picture.
I agree. I think that there's a more likely chance that he will go along with them to get Diana and to help out HW, because I feel like that's more his speed.
Yeah.
Government.
Right.
But I think that he's going to play along, and we're not going to know that until later.
That would be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how that unfolds. I would say that we're going to know, just because of the way that they handled it in this episode. It seemed to already be hinting at that. And Grimm's doesn't usually withhold that kind of thing. If everyone knows where they're going.
Mr. Goku says, I like that Renard asked Rachel if she was pregnant. And then Nikki S., clever, responded that it just goes to show that Renard never uses condoms. Really good point. Note to the writers. Come on. Come on.
I mean, who knows what happens? When he vogues out.
Okay.
In the moment, you don't know what goes on down there.
Don't I? Go on.
Pretty sure you don't.
Just doesn't feel the same.
We've only ever seen a Zauber Beast's face.
Okay.
Just saying.
Okay.
Oh man, look at this water. So good.
Yeah, we should probably move along. And I want to move along and do a quick iTunes shout out. Because thank you guys who have written. I think we're up to 120 ratings on iTunes. It's a great number. So thank you guys for going on there and rating and reviewing. It really does help us at the network. It helps this panel be more visible so that other fans can find it, other fans can enjoy it. So if you're enjoying it, I hope that you want other people to find it as well. And it helps us at the network by keeping the lights on. The more that AfterBuzz is found by listeners, the more we're able to do for you, because we bring these things to you for free every week on iTunes, YouTube, SoundCloud, all the places that you can get podcasts. You can get this show. And if you give us a 5-star review, we're going to give you a shout out. So Maryam186 says, great show. I think I'm the only one in Nigeria that watches Grimm. It feels good to know I have you guys to dissect the show with.
Nice.
Awesome.
Nigeria.
Yeah. Hey, we got international fans, you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
And hey, if you guys are watching us abroad, write in, tell us where you're from.
I think we have someone in the chat from
definitely.
Argentina.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love hearing from international fans, because that's just the craziest thing to think about. It's nuts.
I also feel bad if it's the middle of the night for you, and I'm sorry. That's all.
But whenever you're enjoying us, this show, we like interacting with you guys.
Yeah.
It also helps us get guests.
Yeah, it does.
For sure.
It does. And I think we're gonna. I want to try to do, if anybody's gonna be at WonderCon this weekend, which is in LA, I'm gonna be there for at least a little bit of the time. Yael's gonna be there, busy as all hell.
The whole weekend.
I don't got stuff to do. I'm just going to have fun. But if anybody's gonna be down there, shoot me a note on Twitter. Let's find us. Let's all meet up. It'll be fun. I want to meet Grimm fans.
We'll nerd out.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Diana and crazy theories.
There's something I'd much rather talk about, but yeah.
Is it the Luchadors?
It stinks.
Yes, it's the Luchadors.
All
We
right.
have people in Georgia, I'm assuming the state, and Massachusetts.
Oh, nice.
And Canada, Mexico, Florida. Oh my God. Sorry. Yay!
Well, thank you to you listening to us in Canada. Eh?
No, that was awful.
All right. Water.
That was awful. Thank you. Oh my God. Oh, we got
I'm
two
trying to
people in Georgia.
find a way to get it back on track. It's like,
Luchadors.
Yeah.
Arizona.
yeah.
I mean, you know what's not Canada? Mexico.
I have a question.
Yes.
Are we talking about the Luchadors now?
Yes, let's
Okay.
head into it.
And I want to ask, because I feel I don't know the answer. Somebody else can Google this. The entire Santeria spell situation that we had.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know if that is, and if any of that is based in reality.
I don't know.
I'm giving it to the
But
chat.
yeah, I would love to find out more. I'm not up on my Santeria.
I don't practice Santeria.
I don't got no crystal ball either, and it's not, so we don't know. Like, if we had one, we would know.
Yeah.
Good job. we did this earlier.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I've heard of the, like, if you wear your enemy's skin, you get their power. But that's, like, in a lot of different lore.
Yeah.
You know, like, you drink their blood, you become them. You know, you take their skull.
Eat their hearts.
Right.
Yeah, no, but it is again, if you're going to have that lore out in the world, and this is Grimm, like, it would have to come from somewhere.
Right.
And so this is the basis for it, is these kinds of incantations. And, like, I love the idea that, like, you could transfer Vessin powers to a regular person. Mm-hmm. That's fascinating, because of, like, where it could go.
Right.
And, like, introducing it, even in this little way, like, opens it up to, like, do again in the future.
Yeah. I mean, because it makes it so that if Black Claw wanted to essentially expose Vessin kind, they could make a bunch of these, put them on people, and then send them out and be like, these are Vessin. This is like, these things are out there. Animal creatures. They exist, you know, just to, like, seed it in there.
Yeah.
That's one way to do it.
Is that not how you would do it?
I mean, it could be an interesting way for Black Claw to, like, out Vessin, if that is what their end game is.
Right.
We still don't know the ultimate goal of Black Claw.
Right, but if they're Vessin who want to out Vessin, can't they just out themselves? Right?
It's tough to say.
Yeah, it poses more risks, I'd say. Because essentially, if you expose yourself as a Vessin, then and it's not, like, widely accepted, or it's like it's something that, like, hasn't been I'm not sure of the words I'm looking for, but essentially, basically, you can't work covertly anymore once you come out as a Vessin.
Right.
And so, like, I think that if they still wanted to do shadow stuff, then they want to keep their key players in the shadows.
I see what you're saying. Boo points out that Chavo Guerrero was in this episode and he's an actual wrestler, and too bad they killed him off.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Was that
I don't know who he was.
He would have, if she's talking about the guy that died.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's
I didn't write down his name.
Mayordomo.
Yeah. That was the name.
Yeah.
I'm not a wrestling person, but I have a question about the way this wrestling match works.
Okay.
Every night or show or whatever, they have one guy against the other guy, and one's the hero and one's the villain, and the hero always wins. What is the point if you know that? Because I've seen here at AfterBuzz, people watch all of the wrestling shows, and the hero doesn't always win.
Right.
Because it's pointless if the hero always wins.
Well, not necessarily. Like, it's like you have a serial where, I mean, it's not always the same villain every week.
Right.
So essentially it's like Superman fights this guy and he beats him. Yay, Superman. Superman fights this other guy. He beats him. Yay, Superman. So it's kind of that mentality. So it's like watching the person that you admire winning week after week. And maybe it's the same person and you're like, oh man, the Joker came back, or Mixelpix came back. What a fool. He's never going to beat Superman. So it's the drama of that whole thing.
Okay.
And people enjoy seeing, like, the moves and, like, everything that goes into it. I don't watch wrestling either. Like, to be honest, like, it's just not something I didn't grow up with it.
James says the wrestling's all about the story of the match.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
I believe
Vanessa loves wrestling.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, wrestling it's very entertaining. thing, and people love it. So I think it was cool that Grimm brought it on, and I think the Luchador way was like bring the Luchadors into it was a great way to tackle it,
Right.
And to have this silence of the slams.
Yeah.
I almost wanted it to be a lamb Vesson.
That would have been so great. And everyone is agreeing that Tauri knows a perfect explanation.
Oh, thank you, guys.
I was going to say, it's like when you watch a show and there's a guy named Nick, and you're like, yay, Nick! He beats the Vesson every week.
Exactly.
But you do enjoy, but I will say you do enjoy that, like, and that's why I guess the audience responded when Tigre Feroz,
He was so cute!
when he won out of nowhere, they were like, that was awesome.
Yeah.
We like seeing cool stuff. And just like any TV show that you enjoy, surprise is the best element. Like, if you can surprise an audience,
Right.
they will love you for it.
Right.
As long as it makes sense.
Yeah, when you just have a kitty up here. He's a good little kitty.
Yeah, I mean, our old mask maker friend, he went out and murdered a Balam.
Before he murdered him, he paralyzed him and skinned him.
Yeah.
Yes.
He skinned your kitty. I like
Yes,
cats.
there's more than one way to skin a cat.
Because he had to keep him alive and in distress.
Have you been
to
holding
do
on
it.
to that since Friday?
I haven't.
Okay,
I just thought of it on the spot.
go on.
Because the only way that he would have been able to get the Vesson face would have been to kill him in a distressed Vogue state.
Right.
So he had to paralyze him by voguing as the Vibora Dorado.
Again?
A Vibora Dorado.
I didn't catch that.
Vibora Dorado.
I don't think that's it.
No, that is what it is. Dorada.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I wrote it. I just have bad handwriting. It wasn't about mispronunciation. It was purely bad handwriting.
Wait, so what is it actually?
It's a Vibora Dorada.
I believe it's that.
The Vibora Dorada.
No,
Yeah.
he had it.
He's gotta get real breathy.
What was the kitty? The kitty cat that he skinned.
That was a Balam.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a jaguar type
Meow.
of Vesson. At first, I thought it was a mauvais dent, like
Right.
the white
yeah.
saber-tooth tigers, because it was dark and it just like I
Right.
saw stripes.
Yeah.
Right.
And I was like, I know how to pronounce that one. And then I looked it up and it's like, oh well, that's not hard either. So
Mr. Goku says, "Yeah, you say it sometime." No. Nope, I don't have to.
No.
I sit here and meow.
But the Vibora Dorada is it's based on the Quetzalcoatl myth. Quetzalcoatl is an Aztec god, a god of wisdom and wind,
Yeah.
and was lizard-like and had those sort of backwards tendrils in a lot of the drawings. And so, in this case, this Vesson can murder you, like, or paralyze you with its venom. I thought it was a cool design. It was something new, which I always appreciate seeing. Like, we're getting to the point where like they have to start repeating a little bit, like in the not as main ones.
Yeah.
So it's cool when they can introduce something like interesting.
Yeah.
as
I
a new
like when
type.
we see new ones, but I also really like when they throw in cat-like creatures.
There's a lot of
There's
them.
been a lot of them recently, and I love it.
There's a lot of subspecies
Of kitties.
of cat and big cat type Vesson.
I think that the show has gotten so gory recently, and this episode specifically, it was great.
You mean you thought it was gory? All they did was rip somebody's face off.
Yeah, but we saw the blood dripping from the face, and then we saw the face without the face on it. Mm-hmm. It was actually disgusting, and I loved it.
And then at the end,
great,
when the mask turns back,
Yeah.
so gross.
I mean, so this guy, like, I thought it was cool. He's like trying to win, so he wants this super powerful mask, and they sign in blood.
Yeah, he like dropped the blood and then tried to sign, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
Like his name, he was like, "That's good enough." And then when the mask maker did it, it was like real thorough with his name. I loved it.
And the blood turned into a skull, and that's how you make a contract or a mask, I guess.
Well, it was the specific mask that he was supposed to make, wasn't it?
I believe so.
I think it was the face that he was supposed to go get.
Got it.
So he knew which face to get.
Yeah.
That would make sense.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but it was cool. I mean, I like the idea of like he's like, don't wear it outside the ring. Like these masks are made for specific purposes,
Right.
whether they were made for luchador wrestling or for a warrior or something like that. Like it's made for one thing. Use it for that thing, or you will be in trouble.
Right.
I also liked when he first put it on that they had to like test that the mask was okay with him. Like
Yeah.
the mask had to choose him or accept him.
Yeah.
I think that's such a great idea.
Yeah.
I liked it.
That it had to like, he had to be worthy in a way.
Yeah.
And he was, but then he got a little too
He was a little
attached.
cocky. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that part of it was that like
The mask.
the mask was making him that. Like the mask gave him a confidence he didn't have before.
Right. Though I think that like I mean, obviously this kid has never taken an improv class because he wasn't about making his partner look good. And so like I feel like him being so like I gotta win was very telling that he had a fighter spirit, but he was just not mature enough to handle the mask itself. So I found it really surprising that the old man gave it to him. But I mean, I liked that we got to see this progression of him essentially getting crazier and crazier.
Yeah. It worked. It was cool.
Yeah.
Until he goes crazy and kills the guy.
Yeah.
And the thing glues to his face.
Yeah.
That was gross.
Cool design of like what it looked like when it had melded.
Oh,
It
yeah.
still had like the strings, like you could see
laces.
them,
Yeah.
but it was flesh.
Yeah.
The blood and the gore I could handle. The like the back of his head, I was like, I don't like that.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like that one bit.
I have to wonder, like, this guy is just a human. Like, he's a Carasite. Like, could he, like, what's he gonna do after this?
I wanted them to show us. I assume that he was taken to a mental hospital.
Right.
I mean, because he's like, that all the masks are talking to me.
Yeah.
And Nick kind of confirmed that, like, he went mad. So I'm assuming he's, like, in an institution somewhere, like, talking to himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right. Because he did, aside from the fact that, like, he saw the mask and whatever, he did go crazy. Because
Yeah.
that's what happens when a
He's
person
just in there
uses the mask.
rocking. Tigre. Tigre feroz.
That's like me at home, kitty.
Oh God. Any other thoughts on this episode, you guys? Anything you really liked that we didn't talk about yet?
I mean, I think there was something really missing from this episode. That's all.
More
Care to
Monroe time.
elaborate?
Nope. I just think that it was missing.
I like that Eve. I guess I wanted to talk about Eve a little bit.
Sure.
In that, like, I like that she was just like on a mission. She couldn't sleep and is just like, I'm gonna hunt down Renard and figure out this mystery.
Well, she reviews the tape,
Right.
like just like Renard did,
But
and
she
it's
couldn't
like,
sleep because she was thinking that something wasn't right.
Yeah.
Oh, she's so good.
Yeah. Oh man.
She's so badass.
it's I'm excited to see Eve as a character unfolding, like because she's played by like it's only tough for us to get to like accept her as a character because it's Bitsy Talak.
I've accepted her.
Yeah.
I really like
Well,
her.
I just mean I think some fans are still having trouble like not seeing her as Juliet and accepting that this is Eve. This is not Juliet. This is not going to be Juliet. I really hope it's not because I'm enjoying this character and I like that it's different. I don't need to go back to having Juliet. It was a change, and changes are good and when our show reaches season 5 or 6 or 7.
And when she's in the car with Renard and he goes, Juliet, and she goes, Nick would have told you already. I loved that.
Yeah.
Like she's like, I don't have time to play games with you. You
Right.
know this. We're moving forward. And he goes, Eve, It was great. It was a great scene. It was necessary. And I feel like we'll probably have more situations where people are like, Juliet, and she'll go, you know better.
And it was kind of badass when she's just like, the door just click,
Yeah.
and then opens.
Yeah.
And she gets in.
I think she's really badass. I really like Eve. I really like the story that we're getting. You're right, that she was on a mission, and I loved that.
Yeah.
I have issue with the formation of the computer room in HW. I'm sorry, because
Nitpicking.
no, her and Trevor use the main computer in the middle that's on the big screen.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody else is on their private computers. You know what I mean? It's just, it's a little weird.
Because they're interns, so they have to bring in their own computers.
Oh, I was gonna say because
They don't even get a box rental fee.
it's just something to think about.
Oh, man.
Because she's in the middle of the room looking at stuff on repeat, and there are people doing their job.
No headphones, no nothing.
Yeah, it's real.
Everyone's like, God, like, I'm trying to work over here.
Eve, do you mind?
Like,
Yeah, don't talk to her. She's going to blow your head off.
Yeah, she just. It's so good.
she just looks at them, their computer screen blows up in their face.
Yep.
Guess you're not working now.
I didn't save yet.
Right.
God.
Right. Okay, so we're on the same page.
Yeah.
All right. So with that, I think it's time we move into some predictions.
Yes.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
It's almost like you've never seen this before. All right. So what are you guys thinking? I watched on Hulu.
Same.
So you guys didn't see the promo for next week?
No.
Nope.
All right, so next week, for those who are lame and missed the promo, we're going against not Bloodbot, but werewolves.
Ooh.
Okay.
And so Monroe is,
This is Jeff's episode, the writer who was on last week.
and so Monroe is going up against, he's going to go up against the werewolves as well. And the question that is asked in the promo is, can he pull the trigger against his own kind, even though they're not really his kind.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And I just pulled up and watched it on my computer. White-faced Bloodbot is what it looks like.
I mean, they're like,
Yeah, the episode is called Lycanthropia,
yeah,
which is just
werewolves.
werewolves.
Right.
Yeah. So Ivan has been trying to ask us the entire show if we want Adeline to stay human, and I think we're pretty clear that if Nadaline's gonna work,
Yeah,
she has to be
Natalie is
human.
only going to work if she's human, and I like that. That said, I'm excited for the drama of her becoming a Hexenbeast again, and what has to happen when she does.
Yeah.
So to get all prediction-y,
Yes.
we know someone's going to die,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not sure if I'm stealing your prediction.
It's fine.
I don't remember. Go ahead.
No.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
What?
Why don't you
is
go ahead?
happening?
Go.
I don't even remember.
Yeah, I'll just say what you were going to say.
All right. So prediction is that Renard is going to die,
Right.
right?
Yes.
Eve is going to no.
Go. Yeah, keep going.
Eve.
Yeah.
Go.
I had predicted that Eve was gonna kill Renard, because Renard's gonna ultimately choose the wrong side to get his daughter back, and Eve, being this woman on a mission, is going to have to take him down. She's gonna feel like it's her job to do so.
I think there's also a chance that Eve might take down Adeline, because Adeline's going to turn Hexenbeast and try to fight it and try to fight it and try to fight it, and in the end Adeline will do something that's going to hurt Nick and HW, and Eve is going to come close to killing her, and then probably Adeline will sacrifice herself.
Right.
Yeah, I just can't remember which predictions are mine and which are his anymore.
Well, they're ours.
There are.
Yes.
We are one team, you guys.
Totally. They belong to the table.
One Grimm obsessed team.
Yeah.
I would like it if, when the Hexenbeast comes back, Adeline becomes the double agent, in that, like, she is essentially using Black Claw to get her daughter back, and kind of like spying on the team to see who comes out on top. I think
That does
would be
sound
great.
like Hex and Beast Adeline.
Yeah.
Playing both sides like in favor of herself.
What if Renard isn't a double agent? He does choose Black Claw, and that's why Adeline specifically goes to become double agent to get Diana back.
Oh, like
and
she becomes a double agent for us.
yeah,
Right.
because Renard chose the wrong side.
Interesting.
Kendall
that could be really
says, "What about the Black Claw head guy? His name is Lucian." Guys, we gotta learn their names, right?
Yeah.
Black Claw head guy.
Yeah. Lucian, he's
cool. Okay,
handsome.
what about him?
That's the question: is what do we think about him? And what do we think will happen with him? He's not gonna live past this season.
Yeah, I would
That's
doubt
my
it.
prediction.
I would doubt he lives past the end of the season. I think we're going to build towards something really cool, like some big showdown with him. Maybe, I would love to see him versus Eve, but I think him versus Nick is inevitable.
Right.
It's going to be exciting. Like, he's the guy pulling the pieces, unless there is another level beyond him, which is very possible. There could be a Black Claw Council that we haven't met yet.
Oh, I assume there's someone beyond him because he's the head of Portland.
Right.
Is he, though? Or, like,
That's not confirmed.
he's a leader. I don't think he's just the head of Portland. I think Portland is just an important place for whatever they're doing.
Can we talk about how Portland has become the this is where we make decisions about global issues? Portland.
Well,
Yeah,
there's
Portland's
just a
great.
lot of Vesson living there because like they can get away with it because everything's like everyone's just trying to keep it weird.
Right.
So they're like, that was weird. That dude was like a fox face. Like, whatever. He's just keeping it weird. I'm gonna move along with my day.
Some predictions from the chat. Vanessa says Adeline will join HW to get Diana back. James Foran says it'll be Lucian versus Meisner.
Yeah, a lot of interesting stuff to do, and like we could predict all day, but unfortunately, I think we're out of time. So I want to say thank you very much for watching Grimm here at AfterBuzz TV. This has been the AfterBuzz TV Grimm After Show. Where can they find you?
Hey guys, you can find me online at Yael Tygiel. That's YaelTygiel. Also, I have a new podcast called Intimate Interrogations. A new episode has dropped right now on iTunes for free. It's not AfterBuzz related, but thank you to AfterBuzz for letting me record here.
And you can find me here at AfterBuzz. Tauri J. Miller, Turijy. Zach.
And if you're ready to talk about some Daredevil, I've got the Daredevil After Show. We did episodes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 over the weekend.
Daredevil. We started the podcast over the weekend. We did 2 after shows covering the first 4 episodes. A lot of fun, a lot of cool stuff. This season is going crazy with Daredevil v Punisher. No spoilers.
Thanks.
But check those out. We'll be doing the rest of the season as we go. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on Tuesdays. And like I said, if you're at WonderCon, come meet up with us. Find us on Twitter. You can find me on Twitter at @ZachWilson. And Yael Tygiel, Tauri J. And let us know where you are. We want to come find you. It's downtown LA. So we would love to come find you guys. So guys, until next week, I'm Zach Wilson. And thanks for geeking out with us.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.